Hi everyone, and welcome to a segment which I am going to be doing on and off on a lazy Friday afternoon. Recently, I've been coming across lots of nostalgic stuff, and today I wanted to talk to you about the 1993 X-Men video game that was released on Sega Genesis and Sega Mega Drive. And it was one of the best experiences ever because there have been quite a lot of superhero video games that were launched on Atari and later on Nintendo, but at the time, getting superhero games here in Saudi Arabia was a bit difficult. By the time Sega came in, we had a lot of variety here in Saudi Arabia, a lot of shops that were selling good games, good collection of games and stuff. And turns out that one of my best friends, he got this video game and we started to play. It was one of the toughest game, but to have an X-Men game and to be able to play it for the very first time was like a dream come true. And then at the same time, having something which was so relevant and connected to the story that was done by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont in the early 90s, because that story was published in 1991 and this game came out in 1993. And for quite some time I keep on, that music starts playing in my head, the intro music, the in-game music, the experience, if you will. I won't say it was a very ideal gameplay from today's standpoint, but in those days it meant everything for us. To have a game, to have Wolverine in his tiger stripe yellow costume, to have all these villains, whether it was Sabretooth, Apocalypse, even they had a level that took us into the world of Days of Future Past, the Shi'ar Empire. Sometimes I really wonder, despite the minimal resources that were available at the time, how did developers who were hired by Marvel how are they able to come up with such a good game that remains a very important part for the collective memory of superhero fans like myself, as well as gamers of the old era. So it's just amazing. The gameplay, you've just seen some bits of it before the video started. It's just a very good experience. What's my verdict about it? I think that the first stage of video games that we came across on the console gaming was 8-bit, which covered mostly Atari and the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then it got upgraded to 16-bit video games, which had Sega, both versions, whether it was the Japanese Mega Drive or the US Genesis. And then the other thing was Super Nintendo. I think, in my opinion, if I have to call the best super game from the 16-bit era, the X-Men game would be it. You can play two players simultaneously for missions. Its connection with the comic book storyline was very strong, very deep. Plus, at the same time, it resonated with the X-Men fan base that was there all over. Remember that in the 90s, X-Men and anyone who was a fan of the X-Men, they could only get entertained by very limited means. If they had access to the US, whether they had friends over there or family over there, or they would be able to visit during the holidays, summer vacations, they would be able to go and get the comics and the action figures. The animated series was still a work in progress, because the animated series was first broadcasted in 1994, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the end of 1993. And then the other bit was that if some of us dared to take a bigger risk. Why am I saying a bigger risk? Because that would involve Saudi Post, and Saudi Postal Service was not as active at the time, just like the way we have it right now, and still people are complaining about the service issues. But you would be subscribing to monthly issues of the X-Men, and a lot of issues, I lost a lot of issues over the years, but I'm really glad that most of them they were able to deliver it, and I still have them with me. But it was a real adventure on its own to have access to your favorite superheroes. So you can imagine that when we saw this video game available in Suq al-Dawli, in any other market that was selling video games, there was one in where we have the Noob Tahliya. This used to be Safeway. So there was a shop, small shop over there. They would be selling the games there. There were very restricted venues that had a good collection of video games. And right now it's difficult for me to recall all of their names. So to be able to see that, and I was lucky enough because my best friend, who is also my patron, Dr. Omar Qureshi, he had that video game, and because of him we got to enjoy this video game because we were able to play it together. It was just amazing. So this was something that I wanted to share with all of you guys. If you were a gamer from the 90s or the 80s, I'm sure you would remember this game. And even if you don't remember that, please do check it out. And now these games, they can be played with once again. If you have seen some of my older vlogs, Jeddah's most, how should I say, dedicated collector of action figures and video games. I'm talking about Figures Master. He has everything. He has been able to preserve all the old games. So, I mean, now at least you can revisit all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this segment of Flashback Friday, where I wanted to talk about the 1993 X-Men game, which again, in my opinion, is the best superhero game from the 16-bit video gaming era. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends, like my Facebook page, and subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Thank you.